There is a particular kind of loneliness that comes from being exceptional. When you are different enough from everyone around you, when your gifts set you apart, when your very nature makes ordinary connection feel impossible, you learn to build walls. You learn to keep people at a distance. You learn to convince yourself that solitude is strength, that needing no one is the same as being free. Huntress Wizard built these walls higher and stronger than almost anyone in the land of Oo, and Fiona and Cake Season 2 is the story of how those walls finally came down. To understand Huntress Wizard's journey in Season 2, we must first go back to her origins in the original Adventure Time series. She appears sporadically throughout the show, always on the periphery, always watching from the edges of the forest. She is a wizard of nature, connected to the wild places of Oo in ways that other characters cannot comprehend. She moves through trees like water through channels. She speaks to plants and animals. She exists half in civilization and half in something older and stranger. Her first significant appearance comes in the episode Flute Spell, where she and Finn share a moment of genuine connection. They play music together, their flutes intertwining in a melody that speaks of things neither of them can say aloud. There is attraction between them, obvious and electric. But when the moment passes, Huntress Wizard pulls away. She tells Finn that she cannot pursue this connection because of her wizardry commitments. She tells him that exceptional beasts like themselves cannot afford the vulnerability of love. This explanation sounds reasonable on its surface. Huntress Wizard is dedicated to her craft. She has responsibilities that ordinary people do not have. But beneath the reasonable explanation lies something deeper and more painful. Huntress Wizard is not just choosing wizardry over love, she is using wizardry as an excuse to avoid the terror of intimacy. She has been hurt before, though we do not yet know how. She has learned that letting people close means giving them the power to destroy you, and so she keeps everyone at arm's length, even someone as kind and good as Finn. This pattern continues throughout her appearances in the original series. In the Wild Hunt, she helps Finn overcome a psychological block that is preventing him from fighting effectively. She puts herself in danger to help him, demonstrating care through action rather than words. And at the end, they share another kiss, but nothing changes. Huntress Wizard does not suddenly open up. She does not become his girlfriend. She retreats back into the forest, back into her solitude, back behind her walls. She appears at Finn's 17th birthday party in the episode 17, suggesting that she has been keeping track of him, that she cares enough to show up for important moments. But she remains on the edges, watching more than participating. She is present, but not truly there. This is her pattern. She cannot stay away from Finn entirely, but she cannot let herself get close either. She orbits him like a moon, always at the same distance, never falling in, never flying away. By the time of the series finale, Come Along With Me, Finn and Huntress Wizard have become something like a couple. We see them together in the montage of the future, suggesting that they eventually found their way to each other. But the original series does not show us how this happened. It does not show us what finally broke through Huntress Wizard's defenses. That story is left untold, a gap in the narrative that Fiona and Cake Season 2 finally fills. When we meet Huntress Wizard in Season 2, she is in crisis. Finn is dying. The magical poisoning he received in Season 1, when he and Simon fought a bear in the heart of the forest, is spreading through his body. He is weak, feverish, scarred, and Huntress Wizard cannot save him through any means she knows. This is the nightmare scenario for someone who expresses love through action. She wants to help, needs to help, but she does not know how. The genius of Season 2 is that it uses this crisis to force Huntress Wizard to confront everything she has been avoiding. She cannot save Finn by keeping her distance. She cannot protect him through solitude. She has to engage, has to connect, has to make herself vulnerable in ways she has spent her entire life avoiding. The walls she built to protect herself are now the very things preventing her from helping the person she loves most. Her journey across Season 2 is a systematic dismantling of those walls. Each episode strips away another layer of defense, exposes another wound, forces another confrontation with her own fear of intimacy. By the end, Huntress Wizard will have sacrificed more than she ever imagined possible, but the sacrifice will not be the point. The point will be what she gains, the capacity to truly love and be loved in return. This is a story about what it costs to let someone in. It is a story about the ways we use strength as a shield against vulnerability. It is a story about how the very defenses that kept us safe as children can imprison us as adults. Huntress Wizard is one of the most powerful beings in U, but her power has never been able to give her what she truly needs. Only by surrendering that power, only by admitting her need, only by allowing herself to be seen in her brokenness, can she finally find the connection she has been running from her entire life. The first episode of Season 2, The Hare and the Sprout, establishes the parallel structure that will define the entire season. While Fiona navigates her new life in her newly magical world, the camera cuts to U, where something is terribly wrong. Huntress Wizard finds Finn collapsed in the forest, weak and feverish, covered in scars that should not exist. She tries her remedies, her potions, her magical knowledge, accumulated over years of study. Nothing works. The poison is beyond her ability to heal. This moment is crucial for understanding Huntress Wizard's psychology. She has always been the competent one, the capable one, the one who knows what to do when others are lost. Her identity is built on self-sufficiency. She does not ask for help because she does not need help. She solves problems on her own because that is who she is. But now, facing the most important problem of her life, her competence fails her. She cannot save Finn alone. Watch how she reacts to this realization. She does not immediately seek help. She does not reach out to Princess Bubblegum or Simon or any of the other brilliant minds in U. Instead, she doubles down on her solo efforts. She tries more remedies. She researches more obscure cures. She refuses to admit that she has reached the limits of what she can do alone. This is the response of someone whose entire sense of self depends on not needing others. The show understands that this is not strength, but fear wearing the mask of strength. Huntress Wizard is terrified. She is terrified that Finn will die. She is terrified that she cannot save him. But she is also terrified of what asking for help would mean. It would mean admitting vulnerability. It would mean letting others see that she is not in control. It would mean shattering the image of self-sufficiency that she has spent her entire life constructing. Eventually, she does seek help. She goes to Simon Petrikov, the former Ice King, and tells him what she has discovered. This is already significant growth for Huntress Wizard. She is asking for assistance, something that goes against every instinct she has. But notice how she frames it. She presents information. She shares data. She does not say that she is scared or that she does not know what to do. She maintains emotional distance even while reaching out for practical support. Simon's reaction is important too. He does not judge her for taking so long to ask for help. He does not criticize her for trying to handle everything alone. He simply accepts the information and begins working on solutions. This is the kind of response that allows people like Huntress Wizard to gradually lower their defenses. He meets her where she is, respecting her need for emotional distance while still providing the support she needs. The discovery that Finn was poisoned in the heart of the forest adds another layer to Huntress Wizard's distress. She knows this place. She warned Finn not to enter it. The heart of the forest is sacred and dangerous, a source of magical power that should not be disturbed. That Finn went there anyway, that he put himself at risk despite her warnings, triggers something complicated in Huntress Wizard. She is angry at him for being reckless. She is guilty that her warning was not enough. She is terrified of losing him. All of these emotions swirl together, and she has no idea how to process any of them. This is the beginning of Huntress Wizard's journey, but it is only the beginning. She has acknowledged that she cannot save Finn alone. She has asked for help from Simon. But she has not yet confronted the deeper issues that her walls were built to protect. She has not yet faced the childhood trauma that taught her to fear intimacy. She has not yet learned to express her feelings in words rather than actions. She has not yet accepted that love requires vulnerability, not just sacrifice. The season will force her to confront all of these things. It will strip away her defenses one by one, not cruelly, but necessarily. Because the only way to save Finn is to become someone who can truly connect with him. And Huntress Wizard cannot do that while hiding behind walls of competence and self-sufficiency. She has to let them fall. She has to let herself be seen. She has to risk everything she has spent her life protecting. As Huntress Wizard's quest to save Finn intensifies, the show takes us deeper into the mythology of magic in U. The heart of the forest, we learn, is not just a dangerous place. It is a living entity, a source of power that has existed since before recorded history, and it is guarded by a secret order of wizards who have dedicated their lives to protecting it. Episode 8, The Insect That Sang, opens with a stylized flashback that tells the origin story of the Green Wizards. They were once ordinary bandits, criminals, and outcasts living on the margins of society. But they discovered the heart of the forest, and it offered them a gift, a magical power, in exchange for their protection. They accepted, and for generations they served as guardians of this ancient entity. But something went wrong. The Green Wizards grew greedy. They began to take more from the heart than they gave back. They imprisoned the entity they were supposed to protect, draining its power for their own purposes. The heart of the forest, once a willing partner, became a captive. It suffered, it weakened. And the magic that flowed from it became corrupted by this fundamental betrayal. This backstory illuminates Huntress Wizard's situation in crucial ways. She is connected to the forest, to the wild magic of nature. She has always drawn her power from these sources, but now she learns that the source of her power has been corrupted for generations by those who were supposed to protect it. The very foundation of her identity as a nature wizard is built on exploitation and betrayal. When Huntress Wizard travels to the heart of the forest seeking a cure for Finn, she encounters the remnants of the Green Wizard Order. They are not welcoming. They view her as an intruder, a threat to their centuries-old monopoly on the heart's power. They attack her, try to stop her, refuse to share the knowledge that might save Finn's life. Their selfishness and territorial aggression mirror the original betrayal of the heart itself. This confrontation forces Huntress Wizard to make a choice. She can play by the Green Wizard's rules, accept their authority, hope they might eventually help her. Or she can reject their claim entirely, fight through them, take what she needs, regardless of their objections. The old Huntress Wizard, the one who solved problems alone through force and competence, would not have hesitated. She would have fought her way through without a second thought. But something has shifted. Huntress Wizard's quest to save Finn has begun to change her. She is learning that pure force and solitary competence are not enough. She is learning that some problems require connection, cooperation, the willingness to work with others rather than simply overpowering them. She still fights when she must, but she also tries other approaches. She seeks allies. She looks for common ground. She begins to understand that her old way of being in the world, however effective it once seemed, is not adequate to the challenges she now faces. The Witch Wizard emerges as a particularly important figure in this part of the story. She is one of the Green Wizards, but she is more complex than her colleagues. She has her own agenda, her own wounds, her own complicated relationship with the heart of the forest. Initially, she opposes Huntress Wizard, viewing her as a threat, but as the season progresses, their relationship evolves. They move from enemies to reluctant allies, to something approaching mutual respect. This evolution matters because it demonstrates Huntress Wizard's growth. The old Huntress Wizard did not do allies. She did not build relationships with former enemies. She operated alone, trusted only herself, kept everyone at the same safe distance. But saving Finn requires her to change. It requires her to see potential allies even in those who initially oppose her. It requires her to build bridges rather than burn them. The heart of the forest itself becomes a mirror for Huntress Wizard's internal journey. It is a being of immense power that has been exploited, imprisoned, forced to give without receiving. It has built walls of its own, retreating deeper into itself as the corruption spreads. It is dying, slowly, because it has been taken from for so long without being given anything in return. This is exactly what Huntress Wizard has done to herself. She has given and given, sacrificed and sacrificed, without ever allowing herself to receive. She has built walls against intimacy so high that she is suffocating behind them. When Princess Bubblegum eventually grants the heart of the forest a mercy kill, ending its suffering, the moment resonates on multiple levels. It is sad, the death of something ancient and beautiful. But it is also a release, an end to centuries of exploitation and pain. And it creates a void that someone will need to fill. The forest needs a heart, the magic needs a source. And Huntress Wizard, whether she knows it yet or not, is being prepared to become that source. Episode 6, The Bird in the Clock, contains perhaps the most dramatic moment in Huntress Wizard's entire arc. Her decision to kill the cosmic owl. This is not a choice made lightly. The cosmic owl is a deity, a being of immense cosmic significance who delivers prophetic dreams to the inhabitants of the multiverse. Killing him is not just murder, it is an assault on the fundamental order of reality. And Huntress Wizard does it anyway, without hesitation, to save Finn from a croak dream. To understand the weight of this decision, we need to understand what a croak dream is. In the mythology of Adventure Time, the cosmic owl appears in dreams that foretell death. If the owl appears in your dream, and you die in that dream, the death becomes prophetic. It will happen in real life. There is no escaping it. The croak dream is fate made manifest, destiny rendered undeniable. Finn is already dying from the magical poisoning. His body is failing. And now the cosmic owl is coming to give him a croak dream, to seal his death with prophetic certainty. When Huntress Wizard learns this, something in her shifts. She has been trying to save Finn through conventional means, through cures and remedies and magical knowledge. But conventional means are not enough. The owl is coming, and when he arrives, Finn's death will become inevitable. So she makes a different choice. She decides to kill the messenger of fate itself. The sequence where Huntress Wizard hunts the cosmic owl through the dreamscape is stunning. She chases him from dream to dream, through the sleeping minds of everyone connected to this situation. She is relentless, driven by a desperation we have never seen from her before. This is not the cool, detached Huntress Wizard who keeps her emotions hidden behind walls of competence. This is someone fighting with everything she has for a person she loves. When she finally catches the cosmic owl, he protests. He tells her that he is just doing his job, that he does not choose who gets croaked dreams, that killing him will not change Finn's fate. But Huntress Wizard does not care. She cannot accept that fate is sealed, that nothing can be done, that she must simply watch Finn die. She raises her weapon and strikes. The cosmic owl dies. A god falls because a woman refused to accept the unacceptable. This moment reveals something profound about Huntress Wizard's character. She has always presented herself as someone who accepts reality as it is, who deals with the world on its own terms, rather than wishing it were different. But that acceptance has always been a mask for resignation. She accepted her isolation because she believed she could not have connection. She accepted her emotional walls because she believed vulnerability was too dangerous. She accepted a life without love because she believed love was not for exceptional beasts like her. Killing the cosmic owl shatters all of that acceptance. Huntress Wizard is declaring that she will not accept Finn's death, no matter what reality or fate or the cosmic order says. She is choosing love over resignation. She is choosing to fight rather than to accept. She is choosing to believe that the future is not written, that destiny can be defied, that what seems inevitable can still be changed. This is terrifying for her, not the act of killing, which she performs with her usual competence, but the meaning of the act. By killing the cosmic owl, Huntress Wizard is admitting how much Finn means to her. She is revealing the depth of her feelings in a way that words never could. She is making herself vulnerable because now everyone knows that there is someone she cares about enough to kill a god for. The aftermath of this decision haunts the rest of the season. Killing a cosmic deity has consequences. Orbo, the cosmic judge, begins hunting for those responsible. Fiona gets dragged into the mess and, in her panic, blames Finn for the murder. The ripples spread outward, affecting everyone connected to this situation. Huntress Wizard's desperate act to save one person creates chaos that threatens many. But she does not regret it. When confronted with the consequences of her choice, Huntress Wizard does not apologize or back down. She would do it again. She would do worse than this to save Finn. This is the depth of her love, finally revealed not through words but through the most dramatic action imaginable. She killed a god. She broke the cosmic order. She made herself a fugitive from celestial justice. And she would do it all again without hesitation. The consequences of Huntress Wizard's actions accumulate throughout the middle episodes of the season. She has killed the cosmic owl, but Finn is still dying. She has tried every cure she knows, but the magical poisoning continues to spread. She has sought help from the green wizards, but they have proven hostile and unhelpful. Every path she takes leads to another dead end, and the cosmic authorities are closing in. In her desperation, Huntress Wizard attempts something radical. She tries to absorb the power of the heart of the forest directly, hoping that this ancient magic might provide the cure that nothing else has. But the heart is dying itself, corrupted by centuries of exploitation, barely able to sustain its own existence. When Huntress Wizard reaches for its power, something goes catastrophically wrong. She is torn apart, not physically, not in a way that kills her, but in a way that scatters her essence across the multiverse. The seeds she carries, the physical manifestation of her connection to nature magic, are flung into different dimensions. Each seed carries a piece of her consciousness, a fragment of her being. She exists now in multiple places simultaneously, each version of her struggling to survive in an unfamiliar world. This scattering is a profound metaphor for what has been happening to Huntress Wizard emotionally throughout the season. She has been pulled in multiple directions by competing needs. She needs to save Finn, but she also needs to protect herself. She needs to connect with others, but she also needs to maintain her independence. She needs to feel her feelings, but she also needs to stay functional. The scattering makes literal what has been figuratively true. She is fragmented, divided, unable to hold herself together under the weight of everything she is experiencing. The various versions of Huntress Wizard that emerge from the scattering are fascinating studies in adaptation. In Farmworld, she becomes a protector of Farmworld Finn's children, a maternal figure in a devastated landscape. In Vampire World, she navigates the dangers of a reality where vampires have won. In Baby World, she exists in a strange realm of innocence and vulnerability. Each version adapts to its environment, demonstrating Huntress Wizard's fundamental resilience while also revealing different aspects of her character. But none of these scattered versions can save Finn. They are fragments, pieces of a whole that no longer exists. They have power, but not enough. They have knowledge, but not the complete picture. They have will, but it is divided among too many selves. To save Finn, Huntress Wizard needs to be whole again. She needs to gather her scattered pieces and reassemble herself into something capable of the task. This becomes the driving force of the late season episodes. Huntress Wizard, or rather the primary version of her consciousness, must navigate the undergrowth and find a way back to coherence. She must recover what was lost in the scattering. She must become more than she was before, not just reassembled, but transformed. The crisis that shattered her is also the opportunity to rebuild herself differently, to leave behind the walls and defences that no longer serve her. The scattering also forces Huntress Wizard into dependency in a way she has never experienced. She cannot solve this problem alone. She needs Fiona's help to navigate the undergrowth. She needs Cake's emotional wisdom to understand what is happening to her. She needs the Witch Wizard's knowledge of the heart of the forest to find a path forward. For someone who has always prided herself on self-sufficiency, this need for others is almost as painful as the scattering itself. But it is also liberating. As Huntress Wizard accepts help from others, as she admits that she cannot do this alone, something shifts in her. The walls she has maintained for so long begin to seem less necessary. The isolation she has cultivated begins to feel like a prison rather than a protection. She starts to glimpse what life might look like if she allowed herself to truly connect with others, to need them and be needed by them, to exist in relationship rather than in solitude. The scattering, as traumatic as it is, becomes the doorway to transformation. Huntress Wizard cannot go back to who she was before. That version of her is gone, scattered across dimensions, irrecoverable. She can only go forward, assembling a new self from the fragments of the old. integrating the lessons she has learned through her desperate quest to save Finn. The question is not whether she will survive the scattering. The question is who she will become on the other side. When Huntress Wizard falls into the undergrowth, she enters a realm that will force her to confront everything she has spent her life avoiding. This metaphysical space beneath reality is where unprocessed pain goes to live, where trauma takes physical form, where the wounds we refuse to acknowledge grow into trees that bear bitter fruit. For someone who has built her entire identity on not needing to feel, the undergrowth is the most dangerous place imaginable. The undergrowth operates according to its own strange logic. Painful memories that we fail to process become pain balls, red orbs that fall into this realm and take root. They grow into trees, and from those trees hang fruit that contains the essence of our suffering. In a healthy psyche, this fruit eventually floats back up, returning to consciousness as processed emotion, as wisdom earned through feeling. But when we refuse to feel, when we push pain down and wall it off and pretend it does not exist, the fruit never rises. The trees grow heavy with unprocessed trauma, bending under the weight of everything we will not face. Huntress Wizard's arrival in the undergrowth is not gentle. She crashes through layers of metaphysical reality, stripped of her usual competence and control. She is not the master here. She is not the skilled hunter navigating familiar territory. She is lost, confused, vulnerable in ways she has not been since childhood. And it is precisely this vulnerability that the undergrowth requires. The first thing Huntress Wizard encounters is the evidence of her own avoidance. She has pain balls here, more than she expected, more than she wanted to acknowledge. We see glimpses of their contents. Her adoptive parents dying in a fire, the moment of helpless terror as flames consumed everything she loved. This is the original wound, the trauma that taught her to build walls, the reason she has spent her entire life keeping people at a distance. The show handles this revelation with remarkable delicacy. We do not see the full memory. We do not wallow in the details of a child watching her parents burn. But we see enough to understand. Huntress Wizard was not always the cool, detached warrior we know. She was once a child who loved and was loved, who trusted and was protected. And then, in a single catastrophic moment, all of that was taken from her. She learned the lesson that would define her life. Love is dangerous. Attachment is vulnerability. The people you need can be ripped away without warning, and then you are alone with nothing but pain. This is the root of everything. Her reluctance to get close to Finn, her insistence that exceptional beasts cannot afford love, her endless sacrifice that never allows for receiving. All of it traces back to a little girl watching her parents die, learning that the only way to survive loss is to never risk losing anything again. The walls she built were not character flaws. They were survival mechanisms, constructed by a traumatized child who had no other way to cope. But survival mechanisms have a way of outliving their usefulness. The walls that protected young Huntress Wizard from unbearable grief have become a prison that prevents adult Huntress Wizard from experiencing love. She has been safe behind those walls, yes, but she has also been alone. She has never let anyone close enough to truly know her. She has never allowed herself to need anyone because needing means risking loss, and loss is the thing she cannot bear. The undergrowth forces Huntress Wizard to see this pattern clearly. She cannot hide from her own pain here. It surrounds her, manifested in tangible form, undeniable. The pain balls hang from her tree like accusations, each one representing a moment she refused to feel, an emotion she pushed down, a wound she never allowed to heal. She has been running from this her entire life, and now there is nowhere left to run. This confrontation with her own trauma is essential to Huntress Wizard's transformation. She cannot become who she needs to be for herself and for Finn while still carrying these unprocessed wounds. She cannot truly love while still terrified of loss. She cannot receive while still convinced that receiving makes you vulnerable to destruction. She has to face the fire. She has to feel the grief she has been avoiding since childhood. She has to let the pain move through her rather than walling it off. The process is not quick or easy. Huntress Wizard does not have a single cathartic moment and emerge healed. Instead, she begins a process that will continue long after the season ends. She starts to acknowledge what she has been avoiding. She starts to feel, in small doses, the emotions she has kept frozen for so long. She starts to understand that the walls she built to protect herself have also been slowly killing her, cutting her off from the very connections that make life worth living. This is the work of the undergrowth. Not to heal instantly, but to make healing possible. Not to erase trauma, but to begin processing it. Not to tear down walls all at once, but to create cracks through which light can enter. Huntress Wizard leaves the undergrowth still wounded, still guarded, still carrying the scars of her childhood loss. But she leaves with something she did not have before, awareness. She knows now what she has been doing. She knows why. And knowing is the first step toward choosing differently. One of the most important relationships in Huntress Wizard's Season 2 journey is her complicated connection with the Witch Wizard. These two characters serve as mirrors for each other, each reflecting aspects of the other that neither wants to see. Their conflict and eventual alliance illuminates crucial truths about Huntress Wizard's psychology and her capacity for growth. The Witch Wizard is introduced as an antagonist. She is one of the green wizards who guard the heart of the forest, and she views Huntress Wizard as a threat to everything she has dedicated her life to protecting. When Huntress Wizard comes seeking the cure for Finn's poisoning, the Witch Wizard opposes her with violent determination. She attacks, she obstructs, she refuses to share the knowledge that might save Finn's life. On the surface, she seems like a simple obstacle, another enemy to be overcome. But the show is smarter than that. As we learn more about the Witch Wizard, we see that she is not simply evil or selfish. She is someone who has given everything to the heart of the forest, who has sacrificed her entire life for what she believes is a sacred duty. Her opposition to Huntress Wizard comes not from malice, but from fear. She is terrified of what might happen if the heart is disturbed, if the ancient balance is disrupted, if the power she has dedicated herself to protecting falls into the wrong hands. This fear-driven dedication mirrors something in Huntress Wizard herself. Both women have organized their lives around a single, overwhelming purpose. Both have sacrificed personal connection for what they see as a higher calling. Both have built walls around their hearts and called it devotion. The Witch Wizard's obsessive protection of the heart of the forest is not so different from Huntress Wizard's obsessive protection of her own emotional independence. They are both prisoners of their own dedication. The conflict between them escalates throughout the middle episodes of the season. The Witch Wizard consumes too much of the heart's regenerative power, trying to increase her strength to stop Huntress Wizard. This overconsumption transforms her, corrupts her, turns her into something monstrous. She becomes a raging, mutated entity, more force of nature than person, driven by magical excess to the point of madness. She is what happens when dedication becomes obsession, when protection becomes possession, when love turns toxic. Huntress Wizard sees herself in this transformation. whether she consciously recognizes it or not. She too has been consumed by her mission to save Finn. She too has pushed herself beyond healthy limits, sacrificed pieces of herself, risked everything for someone else. The witch wizard's corruption is a warning. This is where obsessive love leads. This is what happens when you give and give without ever receiving, when you pour yourself out until nothing remains but the empty shell of your purpose. The battle between Huntress Wizard and the corrupted witch wizard is brutal. It is one of the most intense action sequences in the entire season. Two powerful nature wizards unleashing everything they have against each other. But the resolution is not what we might expect. Huntress Wizard does not simply destroy her opponent. Instead, she finds a way to overload the witch wizard's corruption, forcing the excess magic out of her system without killing her. She shows mercy to someone who showed her none. This mercy is significant. The old Huntress Wizard, the one who operated alone and trusted no one, might have killed the witch wizard without a second thought. Enemies are obstacles to be removed. Threats are neutralized permanently. That is the logic of solitary survival. But Huntress Wizard is no longer that person. Her journey has begun to soften her, to open her to possibilities beyond simple elimination of threats. She can see now that the witch wizard is not so different from herself. She can recognize a fellow traveler on the road of obsessive dedication, and she can choose connection over destruction. The witch wizard's survival sets up their eventual alliance. Once freed from the corruption, once restored to something like sanity, the witch wizard has a choice. She can continue to oppose Huntress Wizard, clinging to old enmities, or she can recognize that they share a common cause, that their conflict was never really about each other, that they might accomplish together what neither can accomplish alone. She chooses alliance. She chooses to help Huntress Wizard complete her mission. This alliance would have been impossible for the Huntress Wizard of Season 1. She did not do allies. She did not trust former enemies. She did not open herself to collaboration. But the Huntress Wizard of late Season 2 has been transformed by her journey. She has learned that some things cannot be accomplished alone. She has learned that former enemies can become allies. She has learned that mercy can create connections that violence never could. The witch wizard becomes not just a helper, but a mirror, reflecting back to Huntress Wizard how far she has come from the isolated warrior who started this quest. The climax of Huntress Wizard's journey comes in the finale, The Bear and the Rose, when she makes the ultimate sacrifice to save Finn. But this sacrifice is not what we might expect. It is not death. It is not the heroic laying down of life that stories so often celebrate. It is something stranger and more profound: transformation. Huntress Wizard becomes the new heart of the forest, ascending to a higher plane of existence, fundamentally changing what she is in order to heal what she loves. To understand the significance of this transformation, we must remember what the heart of the forest represents. It is the source of nature magic in U, the living connection between all growing things. It was exploited for centuries by the green wizards, drained of power, imprisoned in service to those who should have protected it. When Princess Bubblegum granted it a mercy kill, ending its suffering, she also created a void. The forest needs a heart. Without one, the magic will fade, the balance will collapse, the natural world will wither. Huntress Wizard fills this void. With the help of the witch wizard, she gathers the fragments of herself that were scattered across the multiverse. She draws on the life force of all her alternate selves, the versions of her that took root in Farm World and Vampire World and Baby World. She channels this collected energy into recreating the heart of the forest within herself. She becomes what was lost. She becomes what the forest needs. This is sacrifice, yes. The Huntress Wizard who existed before this moment is gone. She can never go back to being simply a nature wizard who wanders the forests of Oo. She has become something larger, something cosmic, something with responsibilities that extend far beyond her individual existence. In a very real sense, she has given up her old life to become something new. But it is also fulfillment. Throughout her entire existence, Huntress Wizard has felt connected to nature in ways others could not understand. She spoke to plants and animals. She moved through forests like water through channels. She drew power from the earth and returned it with gratitude. Becoming the heart of the forest is not an alien transformation imposed from outside. It is the full realization of what she has always been, the completion of a journey toward her truest self. The transformation also heals Finn. As the new heart of the forest, Huntress Wizard has access to the regenerative power that the old heart contained. She can draw the poison from Finn's body, reverse the damage, restore him to health. The scattered pieces of herself that she sacrifices, the alternate versions that give up their existence to power this healing, they all contribute to bringing Finn back from the edge of death. Her love, finally, is able to accomplish what it always wanted, saving the person she cares about most. But the healing is not complete with just the physical cure. Finn's body is restored, but his soul remains trapped. He has been dying for so long, grieving for Jake so deeply that some essential part of him has retreated beyond reach. Huntress Wizard can heal his body, but she cannot heal his spirit. That requires something different. That requires Fiona's journey into his mind, the confrontation with his deepest grief, the gentle persistence that finally convinces him to return to consciousness. This limitation is important. Huntress Wizard's sacrifice is immense, but it is not sufficient on its own. She cannot save Finn entirely through her own efforts. She needs Fiona's help, Cake's wisdom, the Witch Wizard's knowledge, the combined effort of everyone who cares about Finn's survival. The lone hero model that Huntress Wizard has operated under her entire life is finally and definitively insufficient. Saving Finn requires community, connection, the very things Huntress Wizard has spent her life avoiding. When Finn finally wakes, when his eyes open, and he sees Huntress Wizard standing over him, the moment is everything both of them have been working toward. She has sacrificed her old self to save him. He has confronted his deepest grief to return to her. They have both been transformed by this crisis, both emerged different from who they were before. And now, finally, they can be together without the walls and defences that kept them apart for so long. The kiss they share is not just romantic resolution, it is the physical expression of everything that has changed. Huntress Wizard can receive now, not just give. She can allow herself to be loved, not just to love from a safe distance. Finn can connect now, not just retreat into grief. He can accept help, accept love, accept the vulnerability of needing someone. They have both grown into people capable of the relationship they always wanted, but could never have. Throughout her journey in Season 2, Huntress Wizard demonstrates extraordinary capacity for sacrifice. She crosses dimensions to find a cure for Finn. She kills a god to prevent his croak dream. She scatters herself across the multiverse in a desperate attempt to save him. She becomes the heart of the forest, giving up her old identity entirely. Her love expresses itself through giving, through action, through the endless pouring out of herself for another. But the show understands that giving without receiving is not love. It is a performance of love that actually maintains emotional distance. When you only give, you stay in control. You remain the strong one, the capable one, the one who does not need anything from anyone. Your generosity becomes a wall, keeping others at a safe distance, even while appearing to draw them close. This is what Huntress Wizard has done her entire life, and Season 2 forces her to learn a different way. The turning point comes when Huntress Wizard accepts help from Fiona and Cake. She has spent the entire season trying to save Finn on her own, and she has failed repeatedly. Her solo competence, however impressive, has not been enough. The poison is beyond her healing. The cosmic authorities are hunting her. She has been scattered across dimensions, fragmented, broken into pieces. She cannot reassemble herself alone. She cannot complete her mission alone. She has to let others in. This is terrifying for her. Accepting help means admitting that she is not sufficient unto herself. It means acknowledging that she needs others, that she is vulnerable, that she cannot control everything through her own efforts. For someone whose entire identity is built on self-sufficiency, this admission feels like death. It feels like the ultimate failure, the final proof that she is not strong enough, not good enough, not capable enough. But it is also liberation. When Huntress Wizard finally accepts that she cannot do this alone, something shifts in her. The endless pressure to be competent, to have all the answers, to never show weakness, lifts from her shoulders. She is allowed to be imperfect. She is allowed to struggle. She is allowed to need. This is what receiving offers. Not just practical assistance, but permission to be human, to be limited, to be a creature who exists in relationship rather than isolation. The show illustrates this through Huntress Wizard's relationships with the other characters. She learns from Fiona, who despite all her flaws, demonstrates a capacity for emotional honesty that Huntress Wizard lacks. She learns from Cake, whose quiet wisdom about relationships and self-knowledge illuminates paths Huntress Wizard never considered. She learns from the Witch Wizard, whose obsessive dedication serves as a warning about where Huntress Wizard's own patterns might lead. Each of these connections teaches her something she could not learn alone. Most importantly, she learns to receive from Finn himself. Throughout the original series, Huntress Wizard expressed her feelings for Finn through action. She helped him. She protected him. She showed up when he needed her, but she never let him help her. She never allowed herself to be the vulnerable one, the one in need, the one who receives care rather than giving it. This asymmetry kept their relationship stuck, always promising intimacy but never quite achieving it. Season 2 forces a reversal. For most of the season, Finn is incapacitated. He cannot help Huntress Wizard. He cannot be the hero who saves the day. He can only lie there, dying, while she exhausts herself trying to save him. This is agonizing for both of them, but it is also necessary. It breaks the old pattern where Huntress Wizard gives and Finn receives. It creates space for something new to emerge. When Finn finally wakes, the first thing he does is reach for Huntress Wizard. He kisses her. He holds her. He makes clear that he loves her, that her sacrifice matters to him, that he sees what she has done and values it beyond words. This is receiving at its purest, allowing yourself to be appreciated, allowing your efforts to be acknowledged, allowing someone else's love to touch you rather than deflecting it away. Huntress Wizard accepts this. She does not minimize what she has done. She does not deflect Finn's gratitude with false modesty. She allows herself to be seen, to be valued, to be loved. This is perhaps her greatest transformation, greater even than becoming the heart of the forest. She has learned to receive. She has learned that love is not just giving, but also allowing yourself to be given to. She has learned that vulnerability is not weakness, but the essential foundation of genuine connection. The relationship between Finn and Huntress Wizard has been building across years of Adventure Time storytelling. From their first meeting in Flutespell, through their various encounters in the original series, to the desperate quest of Season 2, these two characters have circled each other like binary stars, always connected, but never quite able to come together. The finale of Fiona and Cake Season 2 finally brings them into alignment. What makes their relationship work, finally, is that both characters have been transformed by the events of the season. Finn has confronted his grief over Jake's death. He has accepted help from Fiona in his mindscape. He has chosen to return to consciousness rather than hiding in the comfortable darkness of avoidance. He is no longer the man who threw himself into danger because he could not bear to feel his own pain. He is someone who has felt that pain, processed at least some of it, and decided that life is worth living despite the losses he has endured. Huntress Wizard has undergone her own transformation. She has faced her childhood trauma in the undergrowth. She has accepted help from others. She has learned to receive as well as give. She has become the heart of the forest, fundamentally changing her nature to save the person she loves. She is no longer the isolated warrior who kept everyone at arm's length. She is someone who has risked everything, lost herself, and rebuilt into someone capable of genuine connection. These parallel transformations are what make the relationship possible. Two people who are still running from their pain cannot truly meet each other. They can orbit, they can brush against each other occasionally, but they cannot settle into the sustained intimacy that love requires. Finn and Huntress Wizard spent years in this orbital pattern, attracted but unable to land. Only by doing their individual work, only by facing what they were each avoiding, could they finally come together. The show wisely does not give us an extended romantic epilogue. We do not see Finn and Huntress Wizard dating, navigating the ordinary challenges of coupledom, building a life together. What we see instead is a beginning, the kiss that finally seals their connection, the recognition that passes between them, the sense that everything before this was prologue. The real relationship starts now, after the season ends, in the space beyond the story we have been told. This restraint is appropriate. Fiona and Cake is not primarily a romance. It is a story about self-sabotage and healing, about the walls we build and how they can come down. Huntress Wizard's romantic fulfillment with Finn is one outcome of her psychological journey, but it is not the point of that journey. The point is that she has become someone capable of love in all its forms. If Finn had died despite her efforts, her transformation would still have value. She would still be more whole than she was before, more capable of connection, more open to the fullness of human experience. But Finn did not die. He survived. And now, two people who have both done the hard work of facing themselves can finally be together. This is the reward for their struggles, but it is also a new beginning. Relationships are not endpoints. They are ongoing processes that require continued effort, continued honesty, continued willingness to be vulnerable. Finn and Huntress Wizard have proven they can do this work. Now they get to do it together. The finale shows us a glimpse of their shared future. Huntress Wizard, now the heart of the forest, has a pinkish tint to her body and flowers in her leaf hair. She is changed, visibly and permanently, by what she has become. But she is also clearly happy in a way we have never seen before. She is with Finn. She is connected to him openly, without walls or deflection. She has what she always wanted, but was too afraid to pursue. And Finn, for his part, has what he needs. He has someone who sees him, who knows his pain, who will not leave him to face his struggles alone. He has lost Jake, the brother who defined so much of his life. But he has gained Huntress Wizard, a partner who has proven the depth of her devotion through actions that speak louder than any words. He is not alone. He does not have to be strong all the time. He has someone to lean on, and he has learned how to lean. This is what healthy love looks like. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of someone who will stay with you through it. Not the elimination of personal struggles, but a partner who supports your growth without trying to fix you. Not the merging of two people into one, but the connection of two whole individuals who choose each other freely, again and again. Finn and Huntress Wizard have both learned these lessons through suffering. Now they get to live them out together. In Flute Spell, Huntress Wizard tells Finn something that haunts both of them for years afterward. She says that exceptional beasts like themselves cannot afford to be in love. The statement sounds wise on its surface, a recognition of the unique burdens that come with being extraordinary. But Season 2 systematically dismantles this philosophy, revealing it as a sophisticated form of self-deception that keeps both characters trapped in isolation. The idea of the exceptional beast is seductive. It offers a framework for understanding why you feel different from everyone around you, why ordinary life seems to fit others but not you, why the things that come easily to most people feel impossibly difficult. If you are an exceptional beast, then your loneliness is not a failure but a consequence of your nature. You are not bad at connection. You are simply too extraordinary for ordinary connection. The isolation that might otherwise feel like a wound becomes a badge of honor. Huntress Wizard has built her entire identity around this framework. She is exceptional. She is connected to nature in ways others cannot comprehend. She moves through the world with capabilities that set her apart from ordinary wizards and ordinary people alike. And because she is exceptional, she tells herself she cannot have what ordinary people have. Love, partnership, vulnerability, these are luxuries for those who live simpler lives. Exceptional beasts must walk alone. But this philosophy contains a crucial error. It assumes that exceptionality and connection are mutually exclusive, that you must choose between being extraordinary and being loved. Season 2 demonstrates that this is false. Huntress Wizard is still exceptional at the end of the season. She has become more exceptional, in fact, having ascended to become the heart of the forest. But she is also connected, loved, in relationship with Finn in ways she never allowed herself to be before. Her exceptionality did not prevent love. Her fear prevented love. And fear, unlike nature, can be overcome. Finn carries the same philosophy, though he expresses it differently. He does not call himself an exceptional beast, but he acts like one. He takes on dangers that would destroy ordinary people. He shoulders burdens that no one person should bear. He throws himself into situations where his exceptional abilities are required, where only he can save the day, where his uniqueness is the difference between success and failure. And in doing so, he justifies his isolation. He is too busy saving the world to build a life. He is too important to others to prioritize himself. Season 2 shows us where this philosophy leads. Finn is dying, slowly poisoned by magical corruption, and he cannot save himself. His exceptional abilities, which have carried him through so many crises, are useless against the threat inside his own body. He needs others, He needs Huntress Wizard's desperate quest. He needs Princess Bubblegum's science. He needs Simon's support. He needs Fiona's journey into his mind. The exceptional beast cannot survive alone, no matter how exceptional he is. This is the lesson both characters must learn. Exceptionality is real. Some people genuinely are extraordinary, gifted with abilities and perspectives that set them apart. But exceptionality does not exempt you from human needs. It does not make you immune to loneliness, to grief, to the desire for connection. If anything, it makes these needs more acute, because the very qualities that make you exceptional also make it harder to find others who understand you. The solution is not to deny your exceptionality or to pretend you are ordinary when you are not. The solution is to find other exceptional beasts, others who understand what it means to be different, and to build connection with them. Finn and Huntress Wizard are both exceptional. This is precisely why they can understand each other in ways that ordinary people cannot. Their shared exceptionality is not a barrier to love, but the foundation of it. They see each other clearly because they recognize themselves in each other. Season 2 reframes the philosophy of exceptional beasts entirely. Yes, you are different. Yes, ordinary life may not fit you. Yes, the things that come easily to others may be difficult for you. But this does not mean you must be alone. It means you must find your people, the other exceptional beasts who share your struggles and your gifts. It means you must be brave enough to let them see you, to trust them with your vulnerabilities, to build something together that neither of you could build alone. Huntress Wizard's transformation is the ultimate refutation of her old philosophy. She has become more exceptional than ever, a cosmic entity connected to all living things. And she has also become more connected than ever, openly loving Finn, accepting help from others, existing in relationship rather than isolation. The exceptional beast can be in love. The exceptional beast must be in love if she wants to be fully alive. The philosophy that kept Huntress Wizard safe was also keeping her small. Abandoning it allows her to become everything she was meant to be. One of the most important distinctions Season 2 makes is between healthy sacrifice and self-destructive sacrifice. Huntress Wizard sacrifices enormously throughout the season. She gives up her safety, her coherence, her very nature to save Finn. But the show is careful to distinguish her ultimate sacrifice from the self-destructive patterns that characterized her earlier behavior. Understanding this distinction is crucial to understanding what the show teaches about love and heroism. Self-destructive sacrifice is sacrifice that diminishes the giver. It is giving that leaves you less than you were, that hollows you out, that serves the recipient at the cost of your own well-being. This kind of sacrifice often masquerades as love, but it is actually a form of control. By giving excessively, by never receiving, by making yourself indispensable, you maintain power in the relationship. You become the strong one, the capable one, the one who does not need anything. Your sacrifice is a wall, keeping the other person at a safe distance, even while appearing to draw them close. Huntress Wizard engaged in this kind of sacrifice for most of her life. She helped Finn, but never let him help her. She showed up for him, but never revealed her own vulnerabilities. She expressed love through action, but never through words that would make her emotional needs visible. This pattern kept her safe from the terror of intimacy, but it also prevented genuine connection. She was always giving from behind a wall, never truly meeting Finn as an equal. Healthy sacrifice is different. It is giving that emerges from fullness rather than emptiness. that expresses love rather than concealing fear, that enhances the giver even as it serves the recipient. This kind of sacrifice requires vulnerability. You cannot give healthily if you are terrified of receiving. You cannot sacrifice well if your giving is designed to maintain distance rather than create connection. Healthy sacrifice flows naturally from love, not as a substitute for love, but as its expression. Huntress Wizard's transformation into the heart of the forest is healthy sacrifice. She gives up her old self, yes. She becomes something fundamentally different, but she does not become less. She becomes more. She becomes the fullest expression of what she has always been, the living heart of nature magic, connected to all growing things. Her sacrifice is not self-destruction, but self-realization. She is not hollowed out by what she gives. She is completed by it. The key difference is that Huntress Wizard's final sacrifice comes after she has done her psychological work. She has faced her childhood trauma in the undergrowth. She has accepted help from others. She has learned to receive as well as give. She has cracked open the walls that kept her isolated. From this place of greater wholeness, her sacrifice means something different than it would have meant before. She is not giving to avoid intimacy. She is giving because she has achieved intimacy and wants to protect it. This distinction matters for anyone who sees themselves in Huntress Wizard's patterns. Many people, especially those who experienced early trauma or abandonment, develop habits of excessive giving. They become caretakers, helpers, the ones who hold everything together. They give and give, exhausting themselves, never asking for anything in return. And they call this love, when really it is fear wearing the mask of generosity. The show suggests that this pattern must be healed before sacrifice can be healthy. You cannot give well from a place of emptiness. You cannot sacrifice nobly if your sacrifice is designed to maintain walls. First, you must do the work of facing your wounds, accepting help, learning to receive. Only then can your giving flow from genuine abundance rather than desperate need. Only then can your sacrifice enhance rather than diminish you. Huntress Wizard models this journey. She starts the season giving from emptiness, sacrificing to maintain distance, helping Finn in ways that keep her walls intact. She ends the season giving from fullness, sacrificing in ways that express genuine love, helping Finn while also receiving his love in return. The external actions might look similar, but the internal reality is completely different. She has transformed not just what she gives, but why she gives it. Throughout Adventure Time and Fiona and Cake, Huntress Wizard's power has been connected to nature. She speaks to plants and animals. She moves through forests with supernatural grace. She draws strength from the earth and returns it with gratitude. This connection to nature is not just a power set. It is a reflection of her character, a metaphor for truths about emotion and healing that the show wants us to understand. Nature operates according to cycles, growth and decay, life and death, the endless turning of seasons that transforms everything without destroying the underlying pattern. Nothing in nature is static. Everything changes, everything flows, everything dies, and is reborn in new forms. This is the fundamental rhythm of the natural world, and Huntress Wizard is attuned to it in ways that other characters are not. But for most of her life, Huntress Wizard has resisted this cycle in her own psychology. She has tried to remain static, unchanging, protected behind walls that keep the natural flow of emotion from touching her. She has refused to grieve her parents' death, freezing that pain rather than letting it move through her. She has refused to risk love, avoiding the cycle of vulnerability and connection that relationships require. She has made herself a rock in the river, unmoved while everything else flows past. The irony is profound. Huntress Wizard's power comes from nature, but she has been living against nature's fundamental principles. She has been a nature wizard who refuses to let nature work in her own heart. The walls she built contradict everything her magic represents. No wonder she could not access her full power. No wonder she felt disconnected even from the forces she supposedly commanded. She was at war with herself, her psychology, contradicting her deepest identity. Season 2 forces Huntress Wizard to align her inner life with her outer power. In the undergrowth, she encounters the natural cycle of emotional processing. Pain becomes fruit that rises back up as wisdom, but only if you let it. Frozen pain remains stuck, weighing down the trees, never completing its cycle. Huntress Wizard sees that her refusal to feel has created exactly this stagnation in her own psyche. She has pain that has never risen, grief that has never completed its journey, wounds that have never become wisdom. To become the heart of the forest, Huntress Wizard must embrace the cycle she has been resisting. She must let herself die in one form to be reborn in another. She must release the frozen pain she has been carrying and allow it to transform. She must become what her magic has always represented, a being in flow, changing and growing and dying and being reborn, participating in the endless cycle rather than resisting it. This transformation is not just magical, but psychological. Huntress Wizard learns to let her emotions flow rather than freezing them. She learns to grieve, to feel fear, to experience vulnerability without being destroyed by it. She learns that emotions, like seasons, pass through you if you let them. They are not permanent states to be avoided, but temporary experiences to be felt and released. This is the wisdom nature has been trying to teach her all along. The connection between nature magic and emotional truth runs throughout the season. The heart of the forest dies because it was imprisoned, prevented from completing its natural cycles of giving and receiving. The green wizards corrupted themselves by taking without giving back, violating the reciprocity that nature requires. The undergrowth exists to process pain that conscious minds refuse to feel, completing cycles that individuals have interrupted. Everything points to the same truth. Health requires flow, and flow requires surrendering the illusion of control. Huntress Wizard's final form, as the new heart of the forest, embodies this wisdom. She is no longer a static being, hiding behind walls. She is a dynamic being through whom life force flows, giving and receiving in endless cycles, connected to all growing things. She has become what her magic always wanted her to be. She has aligned her psychology with her power, her inner life with her outer gifts. And in doing so, she has achieved a wholeness that was impossible while she remained at war with herself. Huntress Wizard's journey in Season 2 offers profound lessons for anyone who has built walls around their heart. Her story is not just entertainment, but a meditation on patterns that many viewers will recognize in themselves. The walls she built, the sacrifices she made, the terror of intimacy she carried, these are not unique to fictional nature wizards. They are common human experiences, particularly for those who have known early loss or trauma. The first lesson is that self-sufficiency can become a prison. Huntress Wizard believed that needing no one made her strong. She cultivated independence, honed her abilities, made herself capable of facing any challenge alone. And in many ways, this served her. She survived. She developed real power. She achieved things that would have been impossible if she had remained dependent on others. But self-sufficiency has diminishing returns. Past a certain point, it stops protecting you and starts imprisoning you. Huntress Wizard spent years in that prison, too strong to need anyone, too isolated to truly live. The second lesson is that walls built for protection become walls that trap. Every defense mechanism that keeps pain out also keeps love out. Huntress Wizard's emotional walls protected her from the vulnerability that destroyed her in childhood. They also prevented her from experiencing the connection that would have healed her. She spent years safe and lonely, protected and empty. The walls did their job too well. They kept out everything, good and bad alike. The third lesson is that healing requires feeling. Huntress Wizard avoided her grief over her parents' death for her entire life. She froze it, walled it off, refused to let it touch her. And it stayed frozen, poisoning her from within, preventing her from fully living. Only when she faced that grief in the undergrowth, only when she let herself feel what she had been avoiding, could she begin to heal. There is no shortcut around pain. There is only the long way through it. The fourth lesson is that receiving is as important as giving. Huntress Wizard gave constantly, helping others, sacrificing for those she cared about, expressing love through action. But she never received. She never let others help her. She never allowed herself to be vulnerable, to need, to accept care. This imbalance kept her relationships stuck, always at the same safe distance. Only by learning to receive, only by admitting that she needed others, could she achieve the intimacy she secretly craved. The fifth lesson is that transformation is possible. Huntress Wizard was not doomed to remain behind her walls forever. Despite years of isolation, despite deeply ingrained patterns of avoidance, despite trauma that shaped her from childhood, she was able to change. It required crisis, yes. It required hitting bottom, being scattered across dimensions, facing the failure of everything she had tried. But it was possible. The walls came down. The frozen grief thawed. The exceptional beast learned to love. The sixth lesson is that love does not require perfection. Huntress Wizard, at the end of Season 2, is not perfectly healed. She still carries scars from her childhood. She still has tendencies toward isolation and excessive sacrifice. She is not a finished product, but a work in progress. And yet Finn loves her anyway. He does not need her to be perfect. He needs her to be present, to be trying, to be open enough to build something together. Love is not the reward for completing your healing. It is a partner in the ongoing work. These lessons are delivered not through lectures, but through story. We watch Huntress Wizard struggle, fail, transform. We see the cost of her patterns and the possibility of change. We experience her journey emotionally, not just intellectually. This is the power of narrative. It teaches us about ourselves by showing us ourselves reflected in fiction. Huntress Wizard holds up a mirror, and what we see there may be uncomfortable, but it is also hopeful. If she can change, maybe we can too. We have travelled far together through this analysis, from Huntress Wizard's first appearance in Flute Spell to her transformation into the heart of the forest. We have examined the walls she built, traced them back to childhood trauma, watched them slowly come down under the pressure of love and crisis. We have seen her kill a god, scatter across dimensions, descend into the undergrowth, and finally emerge as something new. Now, as we conclude, we must ask what it all means. What does her story offer to those of us who see ourselves in her struggles? The answer, I think, lies in the nature of her final transformation. Huntress Wizard does not simply return to who she was before. She does not rebuild her walls, having temporarily lowered them for the emergency. She becomes something fundamentally different, the heart of the forest, a being whose essence is connection, whose purpose is to channel life force through all growing things. She goes from someone who could not receive to someone whose entire existence is receiving and giving in endless flow. This transformation suggests that healing is not just about removing defenses, it is about becoming someone for whom those defenses are no longer necessary. Huntress Wizard's walls were built by a traumatized child who had no other way to survive. They served their purpose. They got her through. But she is not that child anymore. She does not need walls that high, defenses that strong. She can afford to be open because she has developed other resources, self-knowledge, connection to others, the capacity to feel pain without being destroyed by it. The heart of the forest is a beautiful metaphor for what healthy connection looks like. It receives energy from the sun, from the earth, from all the living things around it. It gives that energy back, transformed, to nourish growth throughout the forest. It does not hoard. It does not wall itself off. It exists in constant flow, part of a system larger than itself, sustained by giving and receiving in equal measure. This is what Huntress Wizard could never do while hiding behind her walls. This is what she can do now. But we should not romanticize her transformation. Becoming the heart of the forest comes with loss. Huntress Wizard can never go back to being simply a nature wizard who wanders the forest alone. She has responsibilities now, cosmic ones, that will shape the rest of her existence. She has given up a certain kind of freedom, the freedom of isolation, the freedom of needing no one. What she has gained in return is connection, but connection always comes with obligations, with vulnerability, with the risk of loss. This is the bargain that love requires. You cannot have deep connection while maintaining complete independence. You cannot have intimacy while keeping your walls fully intact. Something must be given up. Huntress Wizard gives up her isolation, her self-sufficiency, her identity as someone who needs no one. In return, she receives love, purpose, the fulfillment of becoming everything she was meant to be. The exchange is worth it, but it is still an exchange. Nothing is free. For those who see themselves in Huntress Wizard's struggles, her story offers both hope and challenge. The hope is that change is possible, that walls can come down, that even the most defended heart can learn to receive. The challenge is that this change requires letting go of something, surrendering the defenses that have kept you safe, risking the vulnerability you have spent your life avoiding. It is not easy. It may be the hardest thing you ever do. But Huntress Wizard did it, and the show suggests that you can too. The finale shows Huntress Wizard at peace in a way we have never seen before. She is with Finn, openly and without reservation. She is the heart of the forest, connected to all living things. She has found her place in the cosmos, her role in the great cycle of giving and receiving. The lonely warrior who kept everyone at arm's length has become a being of pure connection. The exceptional beast has learned that love is not a luxury, but a necessity, not a weakness, but a strength. This is the gift of her story. Not a formula for healing, not a guarantee that your journey will look like hers, but the demonstration that such journeys are possible. The walls can come down. The frozen grief can thaw. The heart that has been closed for decades can learn to open. It requires courage and crisis, and the willingness to let go of everything you thought kept you safe. But on the other side of that surrender is something worth having. A life in flow, a heart that beats not just for itself, but for everything it touches. The adventure continues. Huntress Wizard's story does not end with the finale. She will keep growing, keep changing, keep participating in the endless cycle that her transformation represents. And so will we, carrying her lessons with us as we face our own walls, our own frozen places, our own terror of intimacy. She has shown us what is possible. The rest is up to us.